that category. The leaderboard goes Yamamoto, Glass now, Emmett Sheehan, third in the National League.
An embarrassment of riches for the Dodgers starter, and Emmett comes out of spring training making this rotation. Fastball is elite as far as the swing and miss and average against it. He got more swing and miss last year, and the thing that really made the fastball play up is the curveball, throwing a few more curveballs, giving him a chance to change some more speeds, including that changeup and the curveball. With his four-seamer, that's how he gets the lefties out up, but he can also pitch down with that fastball.
Sheehan with those excellent numbers in the postseason, struggled at first. He was tipping early on in the postseason, figured that out, something that he's dealt with throughout the years. But in the World Series, Game 3, 3 scoreless innings and extras in the 18-inning win. Game 7, he had a scoreless inning and trying to build off of the momentum of that. Here in his first start of 2026. The lineup that'll face off with here from Arizona. Ketel Marte leading off really good, top of the order with Corbin Carroll and Gerardo Perdomo hitting 2 and 3. The catcher's Gabriel Moreno. Pavin Smith was scratched yesterday with a sore elbow, but he's in there DHing, making his season debut. The two veterans they brought over at the corners in Arenado and Santana. Alec Thomas and Jordan Lawler round things out for Torey Lovello. Dodgers an 8-2 win on opening day. All set for game 2. Sheehan to Marte. Off we go with a fastball high and away. Marte was 0 for 4 yesterday. Arizona took the early lead in the home run from Perdomo. Had just one base runner after that, though, as Yamamoto settled into the game. The bullpen delivered scoreless relief. And the Dodgers got a 5th consecutive opening day win. You never want to have all the pageantry and the celebrating and then flat tire and not actually win the game.
Yeah, it kind of gets in the way of your routine, but it's a fun routine to have it get away from when you're having the celebrations they are with the ring ceremony and the banner raising yesterday.
Well, these teams had to feel like last year never ended with the way yesterday's game went. Last year, only the Blue Jays had more comeback wins than the Dodgers did. Only the White Sox had more blown lead losses than the Diamondbacks did. And from down 2-0 to winning 8-2. On a 2-1 from Sheehan. Marte cuts and misses at that high fastball. You mentioned the swing and miss from Sheehan. That's another category that you find him right up there near the top of the league. Only Dylan Cease of the Padres got swing and miss at a higher rate.
Especially to lefties with this altitude. If they're going to chase that, it's going to be an easy night. The Diamondbacks picked on fastballs on Yamamoto. They did not get a hit off his split or anything off speed.
2-2 on Marte, leading off for Arizona. And watches one footer in for strike 3. That was the changeup.
That's some good action, and of course the change of speeds. Not the altitude that he wants, but the movement, I think, fooled him. He probably thought it was another high fastball, and that one dropped down right in there at the top of the strike zone.
And guess what happens if we get 7 of those tonight? Jumbo Jacks are back with purchase of a large drink at LA area restaurants, but you by now already know that. Corbin Carroll takes his first pitch change up in the dirt. Carroll had a single and scored a run yesterday, singled in front of the home run. Star player and a incredibly fast healer. Broke his wrist last year and was back in 2.5 weeks. And then broke a hamate bone in his hand this spring and was back in 1 month. Broke his hand in mid-February. He was swinging, and that's a bone in your hand that you don't really need for anything. You break it, you just got to go in there and basically take it out. He's swinging, and he says to Torey Lovello, I think I just broke my hand. Torey's like, wait, are you serious? Turns out he has the little piece of bone removed. A month later, he's back in there and ready for opening day.
And it's not that he wasn't feeling pain when he came back in 2.5 weeks. And when he came back from this injury, he's feeling the pain. He's just got a severely high pain tolerance.
There's that high heat, 2-2.
Two left-handers here at the top of the order. A third one will be coming up. Do they go back to the changeup that they had success with Marte?
Started him with it in this at-bat. And a slider right there, popped off of the hands. That was the pitch that Emmett felt like got better and better as last year went, as he threw it more, but hasn't quite had the feel for it so far this spring. Now, Emmett put on a lot of weight in the offseason. Good thing, help him sustain over a full season, but The side effect of that is that he feels like his body's moving differently. He's learning all those feels again and still kind of has felt like he's searching for it coming out of spring training. Fires another 2-2.
He can get a little edgy with his arm and his release because he has a tendency to right at the very end to kind of drop his elbow and flatten the delivery out. And so the changeup works well with that because it's the back of the ball or the top of the ball. The four-seamer up works with that delivery because that's the way you can get underneath it. But to get on top of those breaking balls and make them go down, I think that's why he's throwing more curveballs last year.
Roxon fires, trying again against Carroll. Ooh, hooks another foul. Change up that he was out in front of. Sheehan, 26 years of age, 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery now. He's just 1 year removed from simply throwing bullpens this time of year. Now he's got it, second game of the year, and he's also got something he's never had, and that is the pressure that comes with having performed and now really having true expectations. He's lived up to him through 2 hitters with 2 strikeouts.
Well, we saw the changeup for the strikeout. Now the high heater for the strikeout. Last year they hit 146 off his changeup, and this heater has that same kind of ratio, especially when you swing at it neck high.
So hard on those hitters to lay off that high fastball. You're going to see a couple good high fastballs tonight. Ryan Nelson, who's starting for the Diamondbacks, that's his superpower. 2 up and 2 down. Here's Geraldo Perdomo. First pitch curveball misses a little bit low. That's the same location that Perdomo took strike 3 to finish off the semifinal for the Dominican Republic against Team USA. It was called strike 3, though. And high fastballs had teeth so far.
Arizona was hunting the heater last night against Yamamoto and the bullpen. They caught up to a few. That's how they got their runs. But tonight so far, if they're going to hunt that heater, they better make sure it gets in the strike zone.
It's a good offensive team. They were top 10 in runs scored last year. The top of the order, you'd stack up with just about anybody. The 1-1 to Perdomo. Fouls it off. It's 1-2.
Well, Perdomo in their third hole here, he is really a developing superstar. He is a great, great player. And the more you get to see him, the more you enjoy watching him.
26 years of age. He's in his 5th season in the major leagues now. Just keeps on getting better, does Perdomo. The 1-2 from Sheehan. You go back to his first year in the big leagues, statistically, he was the worst hitter in baseball. Last year, top 5 in MVP voting. He does so many things well. He went from hitting 14 home runs total his first 3 years to hitting 20 of them last year. He had more walks than he did strikeouts, stole a bunch of bases, and played great defense. Sheehan trying to strike out the side. Change is a little low, and it's 2-2.
Around the Diamondbacks locker room, they're saying he's turning into a leader also at 26. But you got Santana comes in and playing first base. You got Arenado at third. But as a 26-year-old budding superstar, he's taking a leadership role.
Another changeup, and Will Smith's going to challenge the first challenge in Dodger history right here.
Strike the catcher's challenger.
ABS powered by T-Mobile shows us strike 3. There's a little bit of history for you. 1 for 1. Put it in the Hall of Fame. And it helps Emmett Sheehan strike out the side in the first inning. Shohei Ohtani to lead things off. Better put that ring somewhere safe before he does that, though. presented by your SoCal Honda dealers. The Shohei Ohtani to lead things off, and then Kyle Tucker in right field hitting second. Mookie Betts the shortstop. Freddie Freeman at first base hitting cleanup, with Will Smith doing the catching, hitting fifth. Max Muncy's at third. Tasker Hernandez in left. Andy Pages in center, and Alex Freeland gets his first start of the year. Well, when Corbin Burns got hurt last year, Ryan Nelson got another opportunity. He had been demoted to the bullpen at the start of last season, but he moved into the rotation, and by the end of the year, he was their best guy.
He really started to take off, and you mentioned earlier the fastball is his secret sauce, and it really is. You got to lay off the elevated one.
Ohtani took a rip at it and came up empty. It graded out as the most valuable fastball in baseball last year. The second most valuable pitch, period, behind just Tarek Skubal's changeup. A guy who they've been talking about for years. If only he could figure it out, he could be really good. His 0-1 to Ohtani is that high fastball, perfectly placed. I asked Robert Van Scoyoc for a comp, and he said it's kind of Tyler Glasnow-like, the way the fastball explodes out of his hand.
Yeah, he makes it spin. He keeps its altitude, and that's what fools the hitters, but also that velocity can be intimidating.
Max Muncy said that it's reliever stuff, but coming out of a starter for more of the game and with better command. And he has given Muncy fits. He's really given all the Dodgers fits. 2.06 ERA in his career against LA. He's got Ohtani down 0-2. Rocks and fires. He's off this time. Shohei on opening day singled, walked, came in to score. Dodgers had a quiet start. Zach Gallen gave up just one hit through 4 innings. A little bit eager, the hitting coaches thought, those first few innings, but a couple 4-run innings from there.
It's always interesting on these celebration games where you are standing on the line or waiting in the dugout to receive your ring. You're watching the banner raise. You've got the band got to clear the field. It just kind of interrupts your time, and I think that's what happened with the Dodger offense a little bit early on to get their game legs.
Band is on the field.
Marching band refused to yield.
Ohtani leading off and taking strike 3. The slider, which was a huge pitch as last year went on for Nelson. We've had 4 hitters in this game, and we've had 4 strikeouts.
Well, you go up there prepared for the scouting report, and Nelson will throw more curveballs in the off-speed counts to left-handers and more sliders to righties. So maybe Shohei was not expecting that pitch at all.
Yeah, that's going against the scouting report. If you get something slider-like for lefty, it's usually his cutter. Backdoors it on Ohtani, who often will see things that nobody else does. Tucker had a double in his Dodger debut, also had a walk and showed off really the well-roundedness of his offensive game. It's a guy who slugs, steals bases. Dave Roberts said it felt like this spring he was at 3 balls and 2 strikes every time he went up there. Here's the 0-1 to him. Swung on and missed.
He can catch up to the heater, and he likes to hunt it. He's kind of like Max Muncy. If he sees a heater and it's near the plate, he's going to probably give it a hack. He's got one of the stranger swings that you'll see for an elite hitter because of the way his arm kind of bars out, makes the swing look long, but he still can catch up to velocity.
I remember talking to Craig Counsell, his manager last year for the Cubs, and Craig and several other people with the Cubs unprompted made Freddie Freeman comparisons. The fact that great, well-rounded left-handed hitter, not the most gorgeous swing. You know, you think that left-handed Ken Griffey Jr. beautiful swing. It's not that, but it's simple, both in how it looks, and it's simple in their process, in their conviction in what they do.
Very repeatable.
Nelson fires him another 0-2 pitch and misses away.
A rare attempt at a low and away fastball from him. Almost a setup pitch where a lot of pitchers use the fastball up and in to set up something off speed. He could be setting up the inner half of the plate with something with altitude, another fastball instead of away.
Here's his 1-2 pitch. Tucker checks outside, 2-2. The last 2 years, only 2 guys have had more walks than strikeouts. Luis Arraez and Kyle Tucker. And for Arraez, that's not because he walks a lot. It's just because he simply does not strike out. Tucker loads up on those walks. Here's the 2-2. Taken for strike 3. 5 up, 5 down, 5 strikeouts.
It's the kind of game that an analyst that's an ex-pitcher likes so far. Interesting slider again, kind of backdoored, but got 2 lefties out going against his own scouting report and his own ratios.
We talked about how good he's been against the Dodgers in his career. That includes his last start of last year. Struck out 9 here, tying a career high. Goes to work against Mookie Betts. Starts him with a slider for a strike. Betts knocked in a run, scored a run in his 2026 debut. And then today went up there and got his 4th championship ring. 18 in Boston, 3 times since coming to LA. Pokes one off the end of the bat to right field, hangs up for Corbin Carroll, and the Dodgers go down in order in the 1st.
Bonjour le jour.
Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr.'s new Western Bacon Chicken Sandwich with freshly hand-breaded all-white meat. Just $5.99 for a limited time. No base runners in 1 inning. On to the 2nd we go. Emmett Sheehan comes home to Gabriel Moreno and gets a swing and a miss. A tight slider. Got 3 strikeouts in that 1st inning. You're just 4 strikeouts away from a free Jumbo Jack from Jack in the Box tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink. Moreno smacks one to left center field and becomes the first base runner of the day as he gets his 1st hit of the year.
Nice adjustment by Moreno on back-to-back pitches on the outer half, and he has enough swing left to get it. Emmett going away from his fastball in the first 2 pitches of this inning, as it was very effective in the 1st inning. 6 swings, 4 misses on the fastball.
And for Emmett Sheehan, 24th start of his career. This is the first time in his career he struck out the side in the 1st inning. Pavin Smith, his first at-bat of the year. Figures to be in there most days, but he was scratched yesterday with a sore elbow that's been barking on him. And original lineup came out today. He wasn't in it, but he said to Torey Lovullo, let me go take BP. They got some imaging done, and there's nothing structurally wrong with the elbow. He took BP and said, I feel good. So Smith, who's coming off a solid year, for the last couple years, he's established himself as a reliable player. Maybe not totally fulfilling the expectations that come being a high draft pick like he was almost a decade ago now. But at the age of 30, has himself a solid job. Got Moreno at first and waits on a 2-0. A little bit inside. Looked like challengeable right there from Will, who has never gotten one wrong.
He's 1 for 1. It was the kind of thing, though, he caught it properly to kind of try and steal a strike.
He was right. So the philosophy for the team, for the hitters, it's just keep leverage in mind. Don't be burning it early in the game, because if you're getting it wrong, you're not just getting it wrong for your lineup, you're getting it wrong potentially for your pitchers and for Will Smith later in the game. Message to the pitchers is don't do it. Leave it to the catcher. Change, flutters away. That's ball 4. And so back-to-back base runners to open the second inning. First walk that Dodger pitchers have issued this year.
I think what we're going to see, like we know there's situational pitching, situational hitting. I think we're going to have situational challenges.
And again, if you're saying, okay, now what is this system? You see the 1 and the 2 on the scoreboard down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You get 2 challenges. You keep them if you're right. Lose them if you're wrong. First and second, nobody out. Nolan Arenado swings over the top of a first pitch changeup. Here's some more of the details, which they've had in AAA for the last few years. This is uncharted territory for a lot of these umpires. 70 full-time Major League umpires. Only 11 of the 70 have experience at AAA with this. 0-1 to Arenado is popped up. Umpires, for all of time, and it's changed a little bit, but for the longest time have been taught hollow of the knees, bottom of the zone, a ball above the belt, top of the zone. That's no longer the case because it's now based off players' height, not off of their stance.
Top of the strike zone, 57% of your height.
Right there, taken for strike 3. Fourth one for Emmett Sheehan.
Bottom of the strike zone, 23% of your height. This one is not at the bottom of the zone. It is definitely all over the middle.
Now, for most guys, that's not going to be a big deal. But for guys who have particularly low crouches, you think like a Bryce Harper, that's totally going to change the landmarks for the umpires. Because now, 54%, that's up around the letters of Harper's crouch. Whereas before, they're looking a ball above the belt. Santana takes a first pitch change a little bit high. So umpires having to rewire themselves. One of the ways that they're doing this, they're having to do extra studying. When the lineups come out, they get a stack of cards, a card for each player. This is the guy's ABS zone. Riding that changeup, ball and a strike.
Hitters with long strides where their head drops and their body drops also are going to have trouble with the high pitch because they're standing one way straight up. The strike zone's one way, but then when they stride, it's different.
Turns it up with a fastball. Boy, you have a changeup coast in there, and then the fastball with the high spin up there.
And he's got 2 different directions with that also. 2 different velocities, 2 different directions. The fastball is a little firmer and straighter.
Got a security.
We have a drone
here.
A drone or something. We're looking up over the stadium.
Big Al, the head of security, is down there talking with crew chief Andy Fletcher.
While we wait, MLB Plus is a new 2026 stream MLB Network 24/7 and select out-of-market games every week. Plus, great live radio broadcast of every game, game day 3D, big inning, and minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today.
That was a fun pregame ceremony. Obviously, everybody getting the rings, but then Clayton Kershaw surprising everybody coming out of the dugout and throwing the ceremonial first pitch. I kind of wanted him to do his thing, though, where he raises the glove up and has the hitch halfway through. Just coasted it up there.
Well, he got ready for the WBC, so I'm sure that pitch he was ready for that one. But, yeah, I'd love to see the whole delivery.
Clayton told me when he started throwing to get ready for the WBC, he was throwing like 81. But he got it up into the high 80s. He was ready to go if Mark DeRosa had called on him. Threat has been eliminated, and we play on. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Carlos Santana. First and second, 1 away. It's a backspinning pop-up behind Freddie Freeman. Into foul ground he goes, and one first baseman gets another.
Sheehan really lived with the fastball in the first inning, and here coming out of this inning with the 2 base runners early with no outs is using the off-speed stuff to try and get out of this inning.
Center fielder number 5, Alec Thomas.
Been a good start for him. It'd be one thing to watch, though, can he hold it? Because that was something that was disappointing as spring training went on. Even as he was built up, the stuff would have pretty significant drop-off as he got into the game. 33 pitches here. Dave Roberts said not necessarily any kind of pitch count that he's looking at. Just going to be watching, see how that stuff holds. And that's Dave's eyes. That's the velocity. And you can also go deep on the pitch characteristics to see if there's any drop-off. Delivers a strike to the 8-hitter Alec Thomas.
Different generations have different preparation and different culture. In my day in spring training, by the 3rd or 4th week, you might get like a dead arm where you're really starting to push yourself and get in shape, and you'll have an outing where they didn't take all these measurements and you just got to by it and say, you know, my arm's just a little dead. It'll come out of it. It's getting in shape. Now with all the measurements, it's a story.
Base hit into the right field corner for Alec Thomas to get Arizona on the board first. Moreno's in to score. They give the send to Pavin Smith. Relay from Freeland is perfect, and he's out at home. Kyle Tucker to Alex Freeland to Will Smith, and an assist limits the damage to 1. It's time for Discipline That Delivers, brought to you by Vanguard. A good throw here from Kyle Tucker, and Freeland puts it on a dime at home.
2 really elite plays. Picking it up bare hand, turning and know where your cutoff man is, and then the cutoff throw from Freeland. That long bounce that gives Will Smith a good look at the ball and an easy target.
Dodgers looking for their first base runner against Ryan Nelson. It's Freddie Freeman to lead off as he looks for his first hit of the year. Cracks one in the air, left center field, sends Thomas back. Shy of the warning track, he's got room. Stepping onto the track.
Freddie's still looking for his first hit, but not looking for his first hard hit ball. He hit the ball hard there and yesterday.
He got robbed of a hit by Jordan Lawler yesterday. It was the only Dodger that didn't get a base hit in the starting lineup. Oh, 1 away. Then here's Will Smith. Well, all the Game 7 heroes contributed on opening day. You had Yamamoto as the winning pitcher. Will Smith, who had the game-winning home run in Game 7, had a home run of his own on opening day. And then Andy Pages, who had his classic defensive play, he too homered. Here's Smith's first spot.
Well, the Dodgers got off slow. 1 hit in their first 13 at-bats, but then the second half of the game, they started to go with Andy Pages' bomb and that bomb by Smitty.
And as fun as the home runs were, and you'll take those whenever you can get them, I love the fact that 7 of the 10 hits came with 2 strikes. All 9 guys reached. And you just saw the length of it. You didn't need the home runs. They were great. But you didn't need the home runs. Somebody was going to get you.
With this lineup, the game is going to be too long for most pitching staffs. And there's some guys at the bottom of the lineup. They're going to put up possibly some career numbers, because if this lineup stays healthy and scores their 6, 8, 10 runs, they're going to get the bottom half of the bullpen of opposing teams, and they're going to be able to feast.
You got Teoscar Hernandez, who's top 10 in the National League in home runs and runs batted in the last 2 years, hitting 7th. Andy Paz with 27 home runs last year is your 8-hitter. You got a middle of the lineup at the bottom of the lineup.
The most important hitter that'll make this a full circle lineup is probably the 9-hitter, because you're hitting in front of the best player in baseball, and you need to get on base and understand your role.
We were talking with Dave Roberts about that today as it pertains to that guy, Alex Freeland, who's the 9-hitter today. 2-2 to Smith. Popped up. Back of first. Santana or Marte. Calls him off. 2 away.
When you look at a lineup, you talk about a guy or guys that you don't want to beat you. So that makes the 9-hitter a real important hitter, because you don't want them to say Ohtani's not going to beat us, and then the 9-hitter, they get him out, and now they can pitch around Ohtani with 2 outs and a man on first, or 2 outs anywhere, and all of a sudden your most important bat is not getting good pitches to hit.
5 up, 5 down for Nelson. Here's Muncy. And Dave said, I just want tough at-bats. I don't want up there swinging right away, making a quick out. And he said the good thing is, when Alex Freeland is himself, that's what he is. His identity is tough, grindy at-bats. Muncy was on base 3 times on opening day. Trying to solve Nelson. He is 0 for 8 in his career with 5 strikeouts against him. Yeah, like all these guys, the first thing I say, yeah, that fastball, it is just on you. And Max is saying, especially when he works out of the stretch, he's really fast to the plate. And so a fastball that's going to be on you even out of the windup is that much quicker, and it becomes a timing nightmare. Haven't had to deal with that problem yet without a base runner. Ball 3.
One of the things you could pick up from the center field camera is you watch the hitter, and in your peripheral vision, watch when he loads as compared to the pitcher's delivery. A lot of hitters, they load when the pitcher breaks his hands.
That's 4-pitch walk. First base runner for LA. Teoscar Hernandez singled and scored on opening day. Healthy, looking great, motivated to have, hard to call it a bounce back season because it still overall was a pretty darn good year, but this guy takes a lot of pride in what he does, and after a hot start last year, injured his groin and never really was the same. And so he took, when the season ended, 2 full months off. He said, I got to let that groin get better. I'm going to keep hurting it. Takes the 2 months off and then goes to work like crazy. Back in the Dominican Republic, he worked out every day with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Asked him who worked harder. Me, he said. In the mornings, it was all baseball stuff and running hills. And then in the afternoon, he'd go home, he'd take a little break, and he'd do a second workout, like a high-intensity interval cardio workout. Very few carbs. Workouts and that diet, you put it together, and he's feeling great, and he's looking great. One thing to feel great and look great, and it's another thing to have a spring where you crush the ball, and everybody talking about expecting a big year out of him.
There's a lot of different reactions from people that when they do something that disappoints them or their teammates of the organization, and that would be his defense. And he was embarrassed to get taken out at the end of games. He not only committed himself to his body, but he committed himself to becoming a better defender, even verbalizing saying that he wants to win a Gold Glove. So switching from right field to left field, and now saying the new position, or a position I used to play, I want to win a Gold Glove. That's a very mature reaction and response.
Swings and misses over the top of a slider. Ryan Nelson, 3 Ks over a couple scoreless innings. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Well, it couldn't not be better than last year's ring, right?
I didn't get to see one up close and personal because I was part of the skit to get Clayton out there to get his ring in the first pitch ceremony, so I can't wait to see it.
Jordan Lawler leads off this third for Arizona, which has scored first for the second night in a row. 9-1-2 coming up here against Emmett Sheehan. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Sorry, Joe. Emmett's really leaning on the changeup here so far compared to last year. Almost 17% changeups last year as he took the mound. This year, or right so far tonight, almost 40%.
His career high is 23 in a game. He's already thrown 14 of them tonight. And it's kind of been backwards. Last year the slider took off. He didn't really have a feel for the changeup. So far this spring it's been the changeup that's felt much better. Third year of action in the majors. 4-1 as a rookie. That was interrupted by the Tommy John surgery. Back from that successful year, even more successful than I think you immediately think of. And now Oral dealing with, and I know you went through this early in your career too, where you make it, but then it's like the real pressure, the real challenge sets in to try and protect it, especially when you got guys like Blake Snell coming, you got Shohei Ohtani who's going to ramp up as a pitcher, and it probably is human nature to hold on for dear life.
It really is. It's completely different being a young guy making an impact and not having a rotation that has a lot of fantastic substitutes, including a Cy Young Award winner. So yeah, the pressure of just coming up and making an impression is still there.
His 2-2 pitch to Lawler is lifted to left field. Tasker Hernandez stepping back, took the sting out of it with a changeup. Continues to ride that pitch. 1 away in the third.
In the first inning, we saw him kind of go north-south with the fastball, but since then, he is really pulling the string.
Number 4, Ketel Marte.
So once through the lineup, about 50-50 fastball changeup. Ketel Marte, who took strike 3 call to open the ball game. Takes ball 1 from Sheehan. Marte, one of the best players in the National League. Last couple of years, when you look at on-base plus slugging, across the majors, it goes Judge, Ohtani, Juan Soto, Bobby Witt, and then Ketel Marte. 5th best hitter in baseball by that measure. He's been the starting second baseman for the National League in the All-Star game the last 2 years. 2-0 from Sheehan. Jumps out of the way, ball 3.
First 4 hitters in the Diamondback lineup really have to make their offense go. They don't have the length and depth that the Dodgers have. So these guys that have the resumes and the great back of baseball cards, they need to produce.
Jumps on a 3-0. It's a high liner to right field and gone. Ambushes for his first hit, his first home run. And so for the second night in a row, the Diamondbacks have a 2-0 lead.
Diamondbacks look like they're playing with house money. It's kind of like we're not supposed to beat the Dodgers. They beat us last night. We're going to swing 3-0. We're going to push the envelope with 2 outs. With the get cut down at the plate on the second run because of the good relay by the Dodgers. But they are not going to lay back and say we can just beat you with straight talent. They're going to try and beat them with aggressiveness.
Swing and a miss from Corbin Carroll. Marte, who they call PK in the Dominican, that means somebody who's got swag.
Showed it there, going around third.
This team's only 2.5 years removed from a pennant. 2023 team barely got into the playoffs and then surprised everybody. Winning the National League pennant before losing to the Texas Rangers. Haven't made the playoffs, though, the last 2 years.
But don't tell them they're not contenders to get in the playoffs. They think they can really get in the dance.
And they have the lesson from that 23 season that that's all you have to do. And who knows? Torey Lovullo, 10 seasons as the manager. Los Angeles guy. Carroll's down on strikes for the second time tonight.
Little breaking ball down and in. Typical placement against a left-handed hitter after you speed him up.
Number 2,
That's 5 for Sheehan. 2 away in the third, and up comes Geraldo Perdomo. Fastball's in. Perdomo is the 9-hitter on that pennant-winning team. You got to turn the lineup over. So much more than that now. The power that he's added. 20 homers, 100 knocked in last year. Talk about him turning into a leader. He's always been vocal. Even when he got up here as a 20-year-old, they said he would not shut up. That's what it is when you're the worst hitter in the league and you're a 20-year-old talking. Now you're 26 and you're talking and you're hitting and you're performing. You're a leader.
Got some equity.
A ball and 2 strikes. Sheehan kicks and throws, and a line drive down the line. Fair ball into the corner for Perdomo. 2-out double for the Diamondback shortstop. 3rd extra base hit over 3 innings for Arizona.
Veteran bat right here. He takes a fastball into the first pitch, and that really puts a red light in my head. Like, is he sitting on changeup? Then he made a good swing at a changeup, and then with 2 strikes, adjusts and makes sure he stays on top of that high fastball. That was great plate coverage and speed coverage.
Helmet's popping off. Looks like it's a size too big.
Maybe he got a haircut.
Moreno singled his first time up, takes high and tight. 1 ball, no strikes. The catcher for the Diamondbacks, who they got from Toronto a couple years ago, along with Lourdes Gurriel. Trading Dalton Varsho to the Blue Jays. That's a changeup that he hooks. And Perdomo's up to third.
Where Emmett Sheehan's got to think back to last night. Yamamoto gives up a 2-run home run, down 2-0. But it's kind of like, I'm going to give up runs, but I'm not going to give up because this offense can come back at any time for me. We're seeing a little bit of overthrowing, kind of just turning into a thrower instead of a pitcher like he was early on.
Here comes with a 2-0. Moreno takes it for a strike. Starting to see some guys stirring down in the Dodger bullpen. Nobody throwing yet.
That's good preparation right there, anticipating possibly it could be you.
2-2. Change up to both side hitters. Kind of tells you though that he just really doesn't have that slider yet.
Yeah, the curveball's kind of popped out of his hand. The slider, when he's been able to land a little bit, is not breaking very much.
Here's his 2-2. Coming inside with it. And it was the changeup again in the dirt. 3-2.
That is such a hard pitch to figure out if that was a curveball or changeup until the graphic comes up.
Thank God for the computers. Right, it does look like a curve.
Just the bottom dropped out of that, and that could have been a good curveball with 2 strikes.
Perdomo's at third. Arizona trying to take advantage of his 2-out double. Here comes Sheehan with a payoff pitch after he steps off. Perdomo is inching his way up that line, trying to get into his vision. Pavin Smith waits on deck. Here's the 3-2. Pop up. Playable. Freeman bends to third. Almost lost his footing right there. Gumby's got it. Arizona gets another on a home run from Ketel Marte. 2-0, middle 3.
The first 40,000 fans in attendance on Monday will receive a hooded sweatshirt courtesy of Bank of America. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
As the reigning American League Central champion Cleveland Guardians come to Dodger Stadium to wrap up this first homestand. Dodgers hit the road through Washington, D.C. and Toronto for a World Series rematch. Trying to get on the board against Ryan Nelson. They've got 8-9-1 coming up here. Andy Pages to lead things off. Drives the first pitch in the air to center field. Thomas is going back onto the track. He's got just enough room. But a couple hard hit balls that haven't quite had enough.
Andy hit a home run last night on a curveball, and Arizona, of course, took that to the scouting report, tried to beat him with a fastball, and he looked like he was anticipating that.
Freeland beating out Ha-Seong Kim for the gig after hitting just 190 in his 29 games as a rookie last year. Asked Alex today, what do you know today that you couldn't have known last year? And he said, well, first of all, that I'd be here with how it went. I wasn't necessarily thinking I was going to break camp with a team. He said last year is great being here, but man, was that terrible, struggling the way he did like he never had. Said, I know guys like Shohei and Freddie make it look easy, but it is not. He also said he thinks it's exactly what he needed to struggle like that. And he said to learn that he can't be so dang hard on himself. He can't wear every single outcome. So he's coming into this fresh opportunity telling himself, let's try to have fun again. Let's control what I can control. And get back to enjoying the game.
This is one of those situations that we talked about, how the 9 hitter is a very important hitter in this lineup, so it doesn't nullify Ohtani. If he can get on now, Ohtani, 1 out, man on first. If he doesn't get on, 2 out, nobody on, you don't have to pitch to Ohtani.
Nelson to Freeland with the 1-2. Count evens up.
This is the kind of at bat that Dave Roberts is looking for. He's been aggressive on fastballs for a strike, and it got him to an 0-2 count. But on the breaking pitches right there, able to command the strike zone and build this count.
Dodgers still looking for their first hit. First time through the lineup. On a 2-2, Freeland drives the ball in the air to right field, and the first hit will be a home run. Kyle Freeland's first at-bat of the season produces a bomb, and it's 2-1. Or Alex Freeland, beg your pardon. Bottom of the order for the second night in a row, getting things started for the Dodgers. And Ohtani swings and misses.
That was a far cry from I don't think I'll break camp with the team.
Boy, what a huge thing for a guy at the stage of his career that he's at. Hoping, praying that it's going to be better than his first taste.
Between Alex and Tanner Scott, I thought those are the guys on the roster that really need to get off to fast starts. Tanner Scott with a good solid inning last night, and now that swing for a home run. Way to go, guys.
Shohei is ahead 2-1. What does Ohtani have in store for his 3rd year with the Dodgers? It's always something. Stolen bases his first year when he wasn't pitching. Pitched in the postseason for the first time last year. How about year 3? Full-time two-way duties for the first time as a Dodger. Challenge coming here from Moreno.
Calling the ball. The catcher is challenging.
ABS is powered by T-Mobile.
Ball overturned. Strike.
And it was a strike. So 2-2 instead of 3-1. They retain that challenge. Both teams 1 for 1 tonight, and so still with 2 of them.
No more resume strikes or balls for great hitters.
2-2. Stays alive.
That was a great foul ball to be able to extend his arms and stay back and just tip that ball, because it was in the same window as that fastball away that just got challenged. So he's not trusting his eyes possibly, but he had a good enough swing to stay alive in the count.
Another 2-2. He's worked it full. 4 MVPs in 5 years. 3 in a row. Only Barry Bonds has won 4 consecutive MVPs. Nobody's had 3 consecutive 50 home run campaigns. Ohtani and Judge both with a chance to do that this year. Dodgers down a run in the 3rd as the payoff comes home and Ohtani fouls it off.
Alex Freeland stayed alive with an 0-2 count. Ohtani staying alive now in a 3-2 count. Nelson missed an up fastball and ended up throwing it low to Freeland, and he hit it out. What's Ohtani going to get?
8th pitch. Nelson to Ohtani. He's earned the walk. Tying on the board with 1 gone in the 3rd. It'll bring up Kyle Tucker. Dodgers getting on the board on this home run.
Watch the target from Moreno. It was up, and then he missed down Joe, and he just golfs it out of here.
Oh, yeah. Sunflower seeds have never felt so good.
It was part of the script when Teoscar got his ring. Get your sunflower seeds ready, fans, because this next gentleman is great.
So Ohtani's aboard here with Tucker coming to the plate. And Ohtani, after the 59 stolen bases his first year as a Dodger, dialed it back last year as he picked up the pitching, stole 20. See where that number falls this year. You don't know what his goal is going to be. He's very private. He doesn't tell you. You just know that he's going to have goals. It's very much a defining thing of what he does. And you know they're going to be lofty.
When he was born, he was asked, how many bottles am I going to have today? I think I want 4.
Yeah. But the next day, 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always improving.
Man that scripted his life when he was in high school.
Exactly.
Down to the year. Tucker offered 1 ball, 1 strike. Did that mostly as a pitcher. And that ties back into what we're talking about this year with whatever goals he may have in that mind of his. You can kind of read the tea leaves and see how he set goals in the past. What have I not done? What can I do? Cy Young. That'd be the one thing, the one trophy that he doesn't have. He's got those 4 MVPs. He's got 2 rings. Cy Young, the only major trophy that he's not won. And so while he's not come right out and said, yeah, that's the goal, people that know him say, wouldn't be surprised if he's aiming at that.
We know his teammate is another Japanese-born player in Yamamoto, the World Series MVP from last year. He's pretty much verbalized it around camp. I'm not sure he has said it to the media, but he's definitely said it to his coaches and teammates.
No, the thing with Ohtani, and Dave Roberts said this the other day, if he stays healthy, then yeah, he's pretty much automatically going to be in the conversation. Stay healthy, and then how many starts does it wind up being? Ohtani's not going to be on a normal starter's schedule. He's going to get his full time off in what will probably be a 6-man rotation once the schedule necessitates it. Look at, he had his hair popping through his helmet, and Carlos Santana pulled on it. So can he make enough starts to be in that conversation? The 1-2 to Tucker. He lays off and the count evens.
If somebody is comparable to him statistically but has 31 starts and he only gets 25, it's going to be a tough place to give somebody grace from having less work. He's going to really have to excel and almost knock out the other contenders.
Is he not? I mean, he shouldn't get a boost because he's also DHing. You wonder if he'll be a little bit of that, but yeah.
The MVP, you could get the boost, but the Cy Young, I don't think you get the boost for being a two-way player.
Another long at bat. 8th pitch coming to Kyle Tucker, and he takes a walk. Homer, walk. And Nelson showing some cracks here in the 3rd. Let's get a word from Archer.
Fuel your game day with Archer Jerky and Meat Sticks. Find them at grocery and club stores near you.
Betts lined out his first time.
11 batters come to the plate already at a 50 pitch count, and they've seen him, and here we go with the second time around.
Ohtani at second, Tucker at first. Lost the first pitch and foul ground. Santana's over there to give it a look, but it's a souvenir.
I don't know about you, Joe, but I don't know what you saw in spring training watching the games on TV, and then yesterday we watched the game. First thing I noticed about Mookie is how strong he looks from the waist down. I mean, he is just, he's cut down there now. Those legs were not that big last year after when he got sick.
And then really was chasing his tail all year, trying to make up for the weight that he lost. Put the weight back on, but he had developed some bad habits in the process. Smokes this ball, right center. Thomas on the run, to the track, to the wall. Goodbye! Mookie Betts the other way. Dodgers in front.
Increased strength from last year, increased bat speed from last year, and now showing off oppo power in game 2. A high fastball away, and he stays on it. He stays strong, and he clears the fence.
And the emotion pours out of him as Freddie Freeman climbs in and takes a ball. It's a repeat of last night. A 2-0 Arizona lead disappears with a 4-run inning for the Dodgers.
That's where all the hard work came out in that rounding the bases, of getting stronger, coaching himself on what he did mechanically on the swing. He put all that work in the offseason. Oh, he's mimicking the javelin throw that he's been working on, and the flexibility and the strength of his core.
Yada Sensei, Yamamoto's guy. 1-1 strike on Freeman. Ball 2, Kirsten.
Yeah, Joe, well, since Yoshinobu Yamamoto got to the organization, Mookie Betts has been working with Yada Sensei. But this year he's brought in the javelin throwing. So he had kind of tested with it in the past, but he found that it's finding ways to make him stronger. He said realistically, when he looks at what Yoshinobu Yamamoto can do, everything he did in the postseason last year, he said, why shouldn't I find ways to kind of use the javelin, see how I can be essentially the shortstop version of Yoshinobu. He can get out there back-to-back outings with such an effective performance. That's essentially how Mookie decided he wanted to kind of manipulate his body. So he's been working closely with him, throwing the javelins. And from talking to Yoshi, as well as just from Hiro, he's very good at throwing the javelin. Some of the other pitchers have tried, and he can throw it further than most of the pitchers who have even tried throwing that javelin, guys.
3-2 on Freddie Freeman. If you don't have proper mechanics, it's not going to go very far. Exposes where you're not right. Freeman drives one to left center field. Did he get enough this time? He didn't quite. It's Lawler in front of the wall. It's the third time in 2 games that Freeman has flied out to the wall. So 2 away, and up comes Will Smith. Grounds the first one he sees to the shortstop Perdomo. And that'll do it for the Dodgers in the 3rd, but they do it again. They've scored in 3 innings over these 2 games, and each time it's been 4 runs. It was Alex Freeland that got it started. It was Mookie Betts that piled on. It's 4-2 after 3. T-Mobile members get free MLB.TV. Redeem at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Well, they've turned it around for Emmett Sheehan, who gave up the first 2 runs of the ball game, but a 4 spot in the bottom of the 3rd. 4-2 LA. Pavin Smith, the 5-hitter, takes strike 1 from Sheehan.
That's where you need that shutdown inning. Got the momentum back. What he felt bad about giving up the first 2 runs. All of a sudden, you got a 4 spot up there and a 2-run lead. Responsibilities on Emmett's shoulders right here.
Here's his 0-1 to Smith. He walked his first time. A swing and a miss on that changeup. 22 of those tonight. That's 1 shy of a career high. 22 changeups. He's only thrown 9 sliders, which was his preferred secondary pitch last year. Only 5 curveballs. See what he goes with on 0-2 to Pavin Smith. Right back to it.
Pressure can help you with your fastball, but it doesn't help you with your changeup. That 4 spot relaxes your hand a little bit, allows you to kind of finesse the ball in there and spin it.
Five Ks, just 1 walk for him so far. It's close.
Will was thinking about tapping his helmet.
One of the new skills that's going to be important for catchers is knowing the strike zone. Of course, that's always been a thing, but to really have it mastered, and especially ones like that, are going to be tough.
Will is 1 for 1, and that was a great one not to challenge. You saw how close it was in the graphic.
I think there was a worry at first, like, is framing dead when you bring along ABS? Especially because it's not every pitch, no. But also, I think the way you frame it, it's as much about fooling the hitter as it is the umpire, right? Presenting for the hitter so as to not convince him to challenge. Stealing a strike from the hitter as much as the
main reasons, Joe, that they won't let the pitchers do it. Catchers are so good, they're fooling their own pitchers.
Changeup misses away, and Smith's drawn both walks in this series for Arizona. This one leads off the 4th. Not the way you want to begin that shutdown inning you're talking about.
And it's first pitch strikes for Emmett. He has been below 50%, well below. And his pitch count now at 68. That's the reason he's been falling behind and put in some hitters counts.
Arenado comes up as the tying run here in the top of the 4th inning. Hacks and misses at a slider. 1 for 4 in these first 2 games. He last year was not good offensively. Hit just .237, which is hard to believe with Nolan Arenado, but he is still picking it, as you saw a couple hitters into the game yesterday. That diving play at third. The 10-time Gold Glover. Only 1 third baseman more Gold Gloves than Nolan Arenado all time. Brooks Robinson 16. That was a big focus for the Diamondbacks this year. While Eugenio Suarez was hitting 40 home runs for him, he was bad at third. And Josh Naylor, great offensively at first, wasn't excellent defensively over there. And so they go out and get a couple guys who aren't hitting the way they were earlier in their careers. Arenado at third, Santana at first, but both playing defense as well as they ever have. They've got some offense. Talk about the guys at the top of the order. The run prevention, and the defense has a big hand in that. It was not good last year.
The glaring weakness is probably still going to be their bullpen. They said they were trying to fix it in the offseason. I'm not sure they got the bodies they want yet. They have no lefty in the pen. Can you imagine facing the Dodger lineup with no left-hander in your bullpen? We've seen San Francisco call up everybody from their minors that threw with their left hand when they come into a series against the Dodgers.
2-2 lays off. And the pen was a disaster last year for him. Top 2 guys are down with injuries. AJ Puck, Justin Martinez figured to come back, but not till later on in the season. And they got a bunch of guys. Those 2 guys in the pen. Their ace and Corbin Burns still working his way back from Tommy John. Mentioned Lourdes Gurriel, torn ACL last September. He's ahead of schedule. Gurriel tore his ACL last September, and he was begging to play during spring training. That's crazy. One away as Sheehan gets his 6th strikeout.
Very edgy with this ball right here. Makes it look like a strike and then takes it right off the edge. Arenado fooled on the speed and the location.
Number 41, Carlos Santana.
There's the wrong early season schedule to have all the guys out Arizona does. You look at who they play after this. They got the Tigers, the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, the Blue Jays. Just trying to keep their heads above water. This is wide open for the 2nd spot in the division. 0-1 on Carlos Santana. And 2 on Santana. Jack Dreyer beginning to loosen. Speaking of the rest of the division, Padres have taken a 2-1 lead over the Tigers after the Tigers won the opener. Giants 2 games against the Yankees, yet to score a run. 144 years of San Francisco Giants baseball back to New York. This is the first time that's ever happened. First 2 games of the year, didn't score, a total of 4 hits. So you've got Tony Vitello opening his time as a manager, not just looking for his first win, but still for his team's first run. Santana lays off and the count evens up.
Sheehan might be nearing the end right here with that pitch count where it's at. Coming into the outing, you asked Dave Roberts how many pitches you think, and they were thinking right around 80, 85. And some of these have been strenuous.
Here's number 80. Another 2-2 to Carlos Santana.
Second call down to the bullpen. Of course, Jack Dreyer was up, but we saw Mark Pryor on the phone. He was checking to see if he was ready.
Smith off first. 3-2 from Sheehan. Santana. It's a towering fly ball. Hope wherever it lands has a fan with a glove. Thing's gonna hurt.
Not a sensitive inning to take him out. If it was the 5th and you had 2 outs for some reason, you're creeping up against that pitch count, you might want to let your young starter be in line for a W. But here in the 4th, get him out when he's had enough.
Sheehan's 8th pitch to Santana. Yeah, there's another pop-up. And another souvenir.
Santana showed a little age on that one. That was right in his sweet spot in his prime. That ball could have gone a long way, but sometimes you got to recruit a little bit more muscle as you get older. Maybe the fast twitch fibers aren't quite as quick, and he just missed that fastball.
Carlos will be 40 in a couple weeks. 17th year in the major leagues. Down the line, he straightens this one out, and he's got it into the corner. On his way to second, Tucker's throw heads towards the plate and keeps Pavin Smith from thinking about going home. Second and third, tying run in scoring position as Santana gets his first hit as a Diamondback.
He missed the fastball, but he had enough bat speed to stay on the changeup. Stays back enough, has to release the top hand to extend the swing, gets the barrel on the ball, and finds the right field line.
That'll spell the end of the night for Emmett Sheehan. Struck out the side in the first inning, but then a lot of traffic after that. And so he lasts just 3 1/3. Hands it over to the bullpen. Well rested after the 6 innings from Yamamoto last night. They'll need to work a long night tonight. Mehmet Sheehan, 3 1/3 tonight. The book not yet closed. The runners at second and third are his responsibility. Struck out 6, walked a couple, and will hand it off to the bullpen here in the fourth. Thought of the bullpen is brought to you by Jacoby and Myers, and it's Jack Dreyer, who led all rookies in appearances last year. 67 games he appeared in and had a .295 ERA.
Well, that bullpen last year went through some chaos, and this is one of the saviors for sure. And he has really found a home here in this Dodger bullpen. They're looking for big things again from him this year.
Alec Thomas knocked in Arizona's first run with a double. Dave Roberts going lefty-lefty against Thomas, who in his career is just a .190 hitter against left-handed pitching. Dreyer's 1-0. Thomas, who for years has been somebody they've been saying, hey, this guy's close to breaking out. This is his 5th year now. It feels like kind of a make or break year for him. Having himself a heck of a day today. He's knocked in 3 of Arizona's 4 runs, and this game is tied up. Thomas racing for third. Freeland's throw, not in time, but he overslides the bag and he's gone. So back at square one, 4-4 in the fourth.
Well, Thomas stays on a breaking ball, left on left situation. The ball ends up in the right field corner again, and they don't cut him down at home plate like they did earlier to a Diamondback, but here they don't assume anything. They continue the relay, even though your baseball clock tells you it's probably going to be late, but it's not late when you overslide it and you keep the tag on him. Nice job, Max Muncy.
And for the official scores at home, that is a double, even though he got to third before oversliding it. It's officially a double for Thomas. He's got 2 of them tonight, and 3 driven in. It's Lawler, who's moved from the infield to the outfield. This is another guy that's been a big-time prospect for Arizona, like Thomas. Now, though, they're saying that Lawler could be a threat to Thomas because you got Lourdes Gurriel coming back to play left field probably first thing of May. Who's the center fielder going to be at that point? So Thomas now looking over his shoulder, just 1 spot down in the order, 1 spot over in the outfield. A fellow former top prospect, but still a bit fresher. Fewer opportunities to show what he can do. And they're really excited about what Lawler might bring. Three and 1 on him, top of the order, and Ketel Marte on deck.
Lawler made a great play last night. He really moves very well, very athletic.
Former high school quarterback that could have gone either way. Could have gone and played college football. Top pick of the Diamondbacks, though.
Played some wide receiver also, so it's really helping him on learning the outfield.
He's down on a fastball, and that's that for the Diamondbacks in the fourth. All four of those charged Emmett Sheehan tied up. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Good times. 4-4 in the bottom of the fourth as Max Muncy steps in against Ryan Nelson and takes a ball. Walked his first time. He's reached base 4 times. The first game plus, coming off a season where he helped remind everybody by being away how valuable he is. One of those things you don't totally appreciate what you got till it's gone. And unfortunately for him and the Dodgers, way too much time last year to realize that. The knee and then the oblique. Dodgers were the #1 offense in baseball when he was in the lineup. They were 25th in the 2 months when he was out.
You talk about guys at the bottom of the order that help turn the lineup over, but Max Muncy, when he's in there, he really helps the lineup turn over. Pretty much down a slot because Kyle Tucker's signing. But still a guy who links the top of the order with the bottom of the order. Grinds out at bats, knows the strike zone, a high on base percentage, and then a lot of pop.
209 home runs. 2 away from Steve Garvey on the LA Dodger all-time list. Down on strikes to open up this 4th inning. Ryan Nelson with his 4th K.
They come into the game thinking Nelson is going to live with the fastball and the high fastball. The Dodgers 2 for 4 with 2 home runs on the fastball, but that slider, the off-speed stuff, he hasn't given up a hit on.
Slider last year, he doubled his swing and miss rate on from the year before. This guy just keeps on getting better. He had a 5.5 ERA as a rookie. Down more than a full point his second year from 550 to 424. And then last year, 339. Pitcher of the year in a lot of ways. First time that he's entered a year with his spot completely solidified, not wondering what his role is going to be. We were asking him about that the other day. He said, I know, though, the second you get comfy, that's when that might all disappear. So he said, I'm still looking at it like I'm trying to prove myself. This is with his first 2 to Teoscar Hernandez, who struck out his first time. Now gets a swing and a miss. Nelson's from Henderson, Nevada. Went to Oregon. Well, he was a 2-way player. He's got a rare eye condition, same eye condition that Tommy Pham suffers from, that affects your corneas and changes the shape of them. And the silver lining to it wound up being that it kept him from being a good enough hitter to keep going with the two-way thing, and he had to focus on pitching. Hernandez flexes his ball to right center field, sinking. Marte over the shoulder grabs it. Nifty play by Ketel Marte. 2 out. The fans seeing the ball pop out, but that was after he had caught it. Nelson has said he's not sure if he would be who he is now if he would have made it to the majors as quickly as he did had he not given up the hitting, largely as a result of what he was dealing with his eyes. He's had surgery on his eyes, special contact lenses, really rigid that you basically have to like pry off with a plunger-like device. Pages takes high. Tommy Pham, just a complete marvel when you consider the major league career he had dealing with that.
Plungers to the eyes just don't sound appealing.
Right, some things don't go together.
Yeah,
you know, like mustard and peanut butter. Plungers and eyes.
Yeah.
Orange juice and pizza.
Orange juice and chocolate milk.
Oh, terrible.
I have a friend that orders that at breakfast. I can barely sit at the table.
Pages just missed his first time, flied out to the wall. He's ahead 3-0 here.
Eddie, my partner, will be glad that he just made the broadcast. Orange juice and chocolate milk, man.
Eddie's been outed. 3-1. Just like Freeland yesterday getting his season, or today getting his season off to a good start. Pages yesterday trying to move beyond that nightmarish postseason for him. The catch in Game 7 notwithstanding. And recapture what he did for a lot of the regular season last year with those 27 homers. Only Ohtani had more. A little pop, foul ground, Moreno. That's a shutdown inning for Nelson. 1-2-3 go the Dodgers in the fourth. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by our local Toyota dealers. We make it easy. A back-and-forth game. First two for Arizona. Dodgers then scored 4 runs in the third, but the Diamondbacks have tied it up. On to the fifth. Jack Dreyer stays on, and Ketel Marte flips over, bats right-handed, and takes a strike. Carroll and Perdomo to follow in this fifth inning. Marte hitting his first home run of the year back in the third. 3-0 green light. Hammered it to right.
Dave Roberts flipping him around here with Jack Dreyer. You know you want Jack to face lefties, but you definitely want to flip Marte around to the right side. And Dreyer is so valuable with his pretty even splits from last year. Righties were 214 off of him. Left-handed batters 181. So very valuable since baseball has gone to 3-batter minimum rule.
This strikeout of Jordan Lawler, by the way, the 7th of the game, and so everybody gets free jumbo jacks tomorrow. Marte stays alive. And the series will wrap up an odd Sunday off day. Guardians coming in Monday. Took off on Dreyer right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dreyer, after the impressive rookie season, 4 games in the postseason, didn't give up a run. He was the first guy in the epic Game 3. You know, his all-time as Game 7 was, as many things has happened over the final few innings there. Game 3 gets lost in the shuffle. That was spectacular. I mean, there were so many plays through the middle part of that game, and then Will Klein's relief work. You could make a movie, you could write a book about that game. Straight up, Freeland backpedaling, waiting, and catching.
During the ring ceremony, you can kind of wait who gets the loudest cheers, and these Dodger fans did not forget Will Klein. He got a huge ovation.
Same thing yesterday. Got introduced coming out from center field. Nobody really even heard of Will Klein until he was the last man standing in that bullpen and went the last 4 innings through 70-some pitches, double what he had ever thrown in the major leagues. Carroll with 1 out. Takes one to the top. Strike 1. Will said the day after he ordered a pizza and went to the pizza place to pick it up, and the guy's jaw dropped. And he said, "You look just like Will Klein." And Will said, "Well, you could check the name on the order. Slap down the line foul." I am Will Klein. Thank you for my pizza. But he knew very quickly his life had changed.
For me, if you're going to say who is the sleeper to be elite this year, I would pick Will Klein.
Wow. Elite?
Elite.
What tells you that? I know you were in camp with the team.
The stuff is ridiculous. If he just can stay calm enough and repeat his delivery to be in the strike zone, it's unhittable.
Well, they gave up 1 run, 9 games this spring. Grounder past the mound. Mookie Betts well positioned to get the speedy Carroll. 2 gone in the 5th. He's still raw. He's still pretty new to pitching. He had been a catcher for most of his baseball life. Here's the guy who pitched in 16 games total for the Dodgers.
He had a different look in spring training in his eyes, too. He had to look like he belonged, and they treated him like he belonged, and he has gotten into a nice stride coming out of spring.
2 up, 2 down for Dreyer here in the 5th. Perdomo takes a little bit high. And he said that the confidence that came out of that, that's a big deal for him. That one of the first things the Dodgers did when they got him was tell him, you can trust that stuff you're mentioning that he's got. Make him hit it. And he said it was a process to have that, really believe that. But then to have the experience he did in the World Series. Whole nother step in the growth of that confidence.
And the reason you can jump from can't get in the strike zone, then when you do, you're really good, to elite, is when you go from strike zone to command, where you can now start setting up windows with that elite stuff.
It's got to be hard to say, yeah, make him hit it when you got DFA'd with a 7 ERA. Yeah, it's a good time for a challenge. When a walk is potentially the alternative.
Catcher's challenge.
Got it.
Ball's overturned.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. 2 for 2.
And it was about as immediate as you can get because you have to hear the umpire was at strike or ball, and the catcher has to process it and then tap the helmet.
The payoff. Punches it by the bag, foul. And yeah, they're saying 2 seconds, but really umpires have told these guys it's got to be immediate.
Well, and the umpire, if he has a slow strike call and you want to, you know, where do you go with it and how do you know? So the timing of the umpires, they don't want to get burned, but they do need to have a good rhythm for the catchers and for the hitters.
Corey Blazer, I just thought of this. He's the guy who called strike 3 on Perdomo in the WBC. Fly ball, center field, Andy Pages. Quiet top of the 5th for Jack Dreyer. Halfway home in a tie ball game. The Dodgers started the scoring for him tonight with a home run in his first at-bat of the year. Joe, Orl, and Kirsten back here in Los Angeles. Dodgers trying to go to 2-0. Ryan Nelson stays in. Diamondbacks righty fires. And Freeland takes the first one low.
His job is to set the table for Ohtani, but he cleared the table with his swing.
Yeah. Ohtani's on deck, then Kyle Tucker. And there is action in that Diamondbacks bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Challenged him with a fastball, pretty much the location where he hit it out.
Longtime New York Yankee Jonathan Loizaga. Fastball right there that he sprayed foul. Strike 2.
Nelson showing a little bit of ego going back-to-back fastballs near the place where the home run ball was hit.
You mentioned that fastball, the most valuable one in baseball, and so he was the only guy in the majors that threw his 4-seam over 60% of the time. Guess why not? Cue shot to short. Perdomo's got it. 1 gone in the 5th. The rest of baseball throwing the fastball less and less and less, but when it's as good as his is, he's continued to throw it a bunch. Here's Shohei. Strikeout, walk, run, score.
Dodgers only have 2 hits, and they're both home runs.
They've got nothing but 4-run innings to produce their scoring in these 2 games. Last year when they got 4 in an inning, they were 36-5. 1-0 to Ohtani. His flexed foul, ball and a strike. Shohei has scored a run in both games after his record-setting run-scoring season last year. Broke a Dodger record that had stood for almost 100 years. Scored 146 runs. Had to go back to 1930. Babe Herman scored 143. Nobody scored more until Shohei last year. It was one of the great offensive seasons, not just for Herman, but across baseball. Ball was a little bit juiced. Rabbit ball, they called it. Early on in the Depression, so they're trying to boost offense, make it a more watchable game, get people to spend what little money they had on tickets to come to the games. And a bunch of records that still stand were set in that era of the rabbit ball.
So those are the guys that started juicing the ball.
Yeah, all the way back then. National League record still stands from that 1930 year. Chuck Klein of the Phillies scored 158. Leans out, drags it to second for Marte. 2 up, 2 down for Nelson.
Arizona pulled back into this game, and Nelson's doing a nice job with a shutdown inning, and now here 2 quick outs.
Not going to get a chance to qualify for a win, though. Torey Lovullo comes out. He's going to make a change with 2 gone in the 5th. Or no, yep, making a change. Season debut for Nelson. 83 pitches. Handed off to the bullpen as Kyle Tucker gets ready to bat.
Relive Will Smith's history-making Game 7 home run. The first 40,000 fans in attendance tomorrow will take home Will's go-ahead home run bobblehead presented by Bank of America. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Night is finished for Ryan Nelson. 4 2/3, gives up the 4 runs in the 3rd inning. And it's on to the bullpen, which usually for Arizona is bad news. They're hoping that this is part of the solution to that. Jonathan Loaizaga, who's dealt with injuries the last few years, but when he's been healthy, he's been really good. Over 8 seasons with the New York Yankees. Kyle Tucker, bases empty, 2 out. Takes first pitch a little bit high. Tucker today struck out in the 1st inning, walked and scored in the 3rd. He's also, after having 5 outfield assists all of last year, collected 2 tonight. Defense, very much an area of focus for him. He was a Gold Glover a few years back. Hasn't been nearly as good the last couple of years, and he said that he probably drifted out of his routine some. Part of that was dealing with injuries the last couple of years. But eager to get back to being Gold Glove caliber out there. Bottom falls out of that changeup. Another one. And since Mookie Betts gave the Dodgers the lead with a 3-run home run, that is 8 up and 8 down. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. The hot mess is back as a munchie meal for Jack's 75th anniversary. All tied up as this game moves along to the 6th inning, and Ben Kasparius comes on to pitch.
A guy that can rescue the bullpen. He could be a starter. Could look at him as a guy who could be in the rotation, but they will try and continue to stretch him out. You just don't know. He could be in any position as far as out of the pitching staff.
Heart of the order here, misses high with his first one to Gabriel Moreno. Last year, he was one of their best pitchers in the first half. Started 4-0. He had a 2.5 ERA in early June and earned a spot in the rotation at that point. But it was downhill from there, and he said that the way he described those first couple months, no-brainer, and that he wasn't thinking at all. But then everything sort of out of whack as he's going back and forth between the pen and the rotation, and you see how the numbers played out. So an off season of recalibrating, resetting.
I think the potential is still there to have that early first half where he was so good. I think he's got the right mentality and the right stuff.
Here's 1-2 to Moreno. Fastball is tomahawked into left center field for Moreno's second hit of the night. Arizona's got the go-ahead run aboard to start the 6th.
They love to hit the fastball. They're not even worried if it's going to be a strike or not. If they see something near the middle, up, down, whatever, and straight, they're hacking at it.
Arizona out hitting the Dodgers 7-2 in this game. The Dodgers out homering them 2-1, including a 3-run home run from Mookie Betts. Diamondbacks didn't have a walk yesterday, but they didn't have Pavin Smith in the lineup, and today they do, and he's got 2 of them. Curveball, 1-1. Dodgers had 5 games all of last year where they didn't issue a single walk. It's a tidy way for this season to start with one of those. Doubles up on the curve and misses. Ball 2. Something about the way a game feels when you guys are throwing strikes. Yeah. The whole temperature of it.
You can suffocate another lineup just by staying on top of them in great pitchers' counts. That one was close. Will was Little hesitation there, but got to watch what you touch. If you're the catcher, you can only want to adjust your mask.
Yeah, right. It's like the punt returner shading his eyes from the sun. They're like, no, you signaled for a fair catch, buddy. You can't run.
Right.
Full on Smith. Arenado waits on deck. Lob over to the first. Moreno not a stolen base threat.
Time out of the plate, and they're going to say that wasn't then a pickoff attempt. Still got 2 left.
Here's the 3-2. Fouls it off. That's the 17th pitch that Pavin Smith has seen in this game and only his 3rd swing.
He is the complete opposite to most of their hitters.
Able to be that. The guys up there and vice versa. Aggressive guys around him feel like they can be. Tanner Scott to make it 2 games, 2 appearances. I think both teams have had a lot of long at-bats in this game. This could be the 9th pitch right here to Smith. Climbed the ladder, lifted a fastball to left field, swung at ball 4 right there. Back to your point about it hadn't mattered if it's a strike or not. They see a fastball, their eyes are lighting up, and the bats are whipping through the strike zone.
Arenado strides to the plate. Could be Ben Kasparias' last hitter. They might want to turn Santana around to the right side, and Alec Thomas a lefty behind that, with Tanner Scott warming in the pen.
Arenado's 0 for 2. He struck out both times tonight. Both those against Sheehan. Takes strike 1 from Kasparias. Well, there were some years where it seemed like every time he came up, he was going to hit the ball a mile. Rockies to the Cardinals. Now his first season in Arizona. Traded this offseason. Southern California guy. Grew up a Dodger fan. Lake Forest.
A few years back, you could interview him in confidence, and he would tell you that he would hope to be a Dodger.
It's been close a few times. Close, maybe not the right way to put it, but at least discussed.
Watch him and his approach to the plate. Think about him standing straight up and getting measured by Major League Baseball for his ABS strike zone, and then watch when he strides how his height diminishes, and that makes the high fastball one that you could sneak by him and still get it called for a strike.
One-two from Kasparias, taken down and away. Count evens up.
And that was a crouch, and that was one of his smaller crouches.
Fouled into the glove, his 3rd strikeout tonight. Went with that high fastball, got it by him. 2 away.
It's a pitch he's going to have to learn to cover, because you're going to go up there with his approach in the ABS strike zone, and that is a pitch throughout the league that we'll see used more and more. Even the high curveball that hits the top of the zone is going to fool some hitters.
He leaves Kasparias on for Santana. Veteran takes downstairs, ball 1. First hit as a Diamondback earlier tonight. He doubled. He came in to score. There's the tying run in the 4th inning on a double from Thomas. 4-4 in the sixth. The 1-0 pitch. Out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A couple of things kept Tanner Scott in the bullpen here. Ben Kasparius getting the fly out to left and then the strikeout. They don't feel like they need to turn Santana around and maybe give Tanner Scott a fresh inning. You get the 3rd out here.
Moreno's at first, led off this inning with a single. Still over there. Kasparius trying to go 1-2-3 since that. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Santana. Moreno has not ventured too far off of first at any point. Pretty much fall back to the bag over there. Here comes a 2-2 instead of toss over there. And he falls back to the bag. A lot of speed and athleticism in this Arizona lineup. He's not one of those burners. Full count. Ben took a step towards the dugout there, didn't he?
Ben challenged it, but just with his body language, not by the tap of the hat. Great job, Will Smith.
I said I want a challenge, but I know I'm not supposed to. There goes Moreno with the payoff that misses. Ball 4. Go ahead, run into scoring position. Glance over to the dugout from Kasparius to see is Dave Roberts going to make that change, and he will, with the lefty and Thomas coming up. Arizona's had a bunch of traffic in this game. 7 hits. That's the 3rd walk. And now Thomas has been the star of the show for him, knocking in 3 of the 4 runs. Will come up. Going to be hard to hit if you can't see. It's dark. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball is brought to you by Vanguard. Discipline that delivers. Well, the second time here in the middle innings, Dave Roberts has caught on a lefty to try and get Alec Thomas. This time it's Tanner Scott. When he caught on Jack Dreyer back in the 4th inning, 2-run double to tie the game from Thomas. Making a statement. He's never hit left-handers very well, and he gets another chance to do so here. 2 on, 2 out in a tie game in the 6th. Scott throws. Strike 1. Season debut for Scott on opening day. Low pressured 9th inning situation and a good way to start when 1-2-3. Starting his 2nd year with the team. Here's his 0-1 pitch. Thomas takes strike 2.
Yesterday, his first batter, he threw 3 sliders in a row, and it did set up the inning to have a nice, smooth inning. And here, slider and then dots the fastball on the outside corner.
And now here is where last year the problem came. He'd get guys to 2 strikes, but then especially when he got to 2 strikes, he was in the zone more than any reliever in the National League. Too many strikes. Here it comes to the 1-2. Deuce is wild in the 6. 2 on, 2 out. And a 2-2 from Scott.
He was throwing the ball very well right here.
Trying to get a guy the Dodgers have not been able to solve tonight. 2 doubles, 3 runs batted in out of the 4 total. Tries it again and strikes him out with the high fastball. Handcuffed him right there and stranded a pair to keep it tied at 4. This game is tied at 4. The biggest swing belongs to this man. Tied at 4. Also the number of championship rings he's now got. 3-run home run for Mookie back in that 4-run 3rd inning. And how about this? He's leading off here in the 6th. Jonathan Loaizaga stays on to face him. Diamondbacks righty fires. Betts pops the first pitch up. Foul ground at first. Santana's got room, and Mookie retired quickly.
I just hope if Mookie gets the 5th one this year in the 3-peat, it's not a pinky ring. It's just not enough gold.
Here's Freeman, who it's only 2 games into the season. We got to figure he's getting a little bit frustrated hitting the ball as hard as he has, but nothing to show for it.
His approach has been great. His spray pattern, his flight pattern has been just Freeman-like. Just haven't hit the holes yet. The way baseball is, he'll probably get a bleeder off his hands right down the 3rd baseline for a double.
One 1-0. Freeman ahead 2-0. Hit .295 last year, and for most guys hitting .295, finishing 3rd in the National League would be a heck of a year. But Freddie said it kind of irked him. Goal's always to hit .300. Back-to-back years falling short of that. 2-0 pitch. He's ahead 3-0. A lot of last year was on one leg, still managing that ankle injury. surgery that followed it.
You're talking about like 7 or 8 hits, I think. Races batting average 5 points over the whole season.
Swings at a 3-0, rolls it over to second. And the early frustrations will continue right there. 2 out. Up comes Smith. Well, Max Muncy now the longest tenured Dodger, but Will Smith right behind him in his 8th year. Got another 7 on that contract that he signed before last year. Locked up as a Dodger through the 2033 season. And his place locked up as a Dodger with the championships that he's won and the role that he's played in winning those championships.
How about the anticipation by the organization, thinking that he was going to be this, that when he was a minor leaguer, they'd bring him up and let him experience pitcher-catcher meetings to get used to how much he was going to have to process once he got here. Spring trainings were putting him through all the intense memorization, reading the charts, understanding how to communicate with the staff, all the difference, the way they throw, the way they release the ball early on in his career. Wasn't really handling the big league fastball very well, strengthening his hands and his framing ability. It was great scouting and anticipation by the organization.
The 1-2 from Loizaga. Smith lays off and the count evens up. And where did the time go that he's going to turn 31 on Tuesday? Coming off his best year at .296, was 3rd in the majors in on-base percentage. To Perdomo at short, and that is 11 in a row retired by Arizona pitching. Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by our local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Tie ball game to the top of the 7th, and that is Alex Vesia music you hear rocking through Dodger Stadium. Alex said he was just so much looking for some normalcy, looking forward to coming out and having this music play, and said, I want to go out there, spaz out, be myself again after just the unthinkable tragedy that he went through last fall. Faced 9-1-2 here in a 4-4 game. His first one to Jordan Lawler is in the dirt for ball 1. 2 days after the start of the World Series, his newborn daughter Sterling passed away. So Alex was away from the team during the World Series with his wife Kayla. Unimaginable. But getting back to working out this offseason. So he bulked up more than usual because it was kind of an escape for him to get back to working out, get back to baseball, and then at spring training back with all his teammates, be surrounded by them. It's 2-0 to Lawler. Breaks in there for a strike. They're people before they're players. Sad of a reminder of that as you'll ever find. Crack bat, fly ball, Tasker Hernandez. For the first out of the 7th, down to Kirsten.
Thanks, Joe. When it comes to Alex Vesia, he's always wanted to find different ways to express himself on the mound. It's something he actually started doing when he was in high school, and that was designing gloves. So this offseason, he worked very closely with Murchie to design 6 different gloves, and all of them have very specific detailings. So actually on the one he's wearing today, you'll notice there's cursive on the inside of his glove. It says Sterling Soul. That was their daughter's name. He also has a K for his wife Kayla on the ring finger, and on the inside of the glove is actually his daughter's birthday, 10/21/25. So this is just another beautiful way that he has found he can keep his daughter Sterling close to him, of course, with everything he's doing off the field, but also on the field, guys.
Very cool. Great stuff, Kirsten. Marte at the top of the order. He's got a home run tonight. Takes a strike, 1-1. See Sterling Soul there on the thumb of the glove. Special for Alex and Kayla watching the World Series from afar, seeing all the relievers, both teams writing 51 on their hats. Well, he's back to doing what he wanted to do out there, spazzing out. Here's his 1-2 to Marte. Base hit to left.
Wonderful tribute to his wife and his daughter, but to look at that glove, it'd be hard to sometimes keep your game face on. Fantastic tribute. Makes you even pull harder for him and his family.
On a tie game, Marte with his second hit of the game. 8th for the Diamondbacks, out hitting the Dodgers 8-2. And now Corbin Carroll. Spinner for a strike. Carroll's 0 for 3, struck out twice against Sheehan and then grounded out.
Size and speed, but don't forget about his pop.
He's just a live athlete, and it translates in so many ways. Speed, yeah, but lightning in his hands, too. Had 32 stolen bases last year. He also hit 31 home runs. The 1-1 from Vesia. Carroll rounds it along first, and Vesia's ahead 1-2.
.32 will be a low number of stolen bases if they give him the green light a little bit more and he stays healthy. He's got the pop of like a Ricky Henderson and the speed of kind of like Ricky Henderson.
Bouncing ball with his speed, it'd be tough to turn 2. Freeland knows just one play. It's at first. Into scoring position goes Ketel Marte.
Carroll blew a tire at home plate and slipped.
And so to be up to Perdomo here, and the Diamondbacks like the sound of that. Perdomo's been one of the best clutch hitters in the league, as you see that tire getting blown. Still speeding up, knowing that he had a chance. Perdomo, a .330 hitter with runners in scoring position last year.
If there's a guy in the lineup you don't want to beat you, this is the guy.
One you circle.
Yep. First base is open, 2 outs. Every pitch should be like it's 0-2.
Here's the 0-1. Perdomo flies it foul. Strike 2.
You can throw him 4 pitches that look like strikes, end up balls in this situation.
He might not swing at any of them, but
well, I want him to think about it. The Diamondbacks haven't won yet. They're 0-1. They lost yesterday in a big way, and they got a tie game here. Maybe he'll come out of his shoes for you.
Perdomo waiting on deck. Couldn't lay off. There's that eagerness you're sensing.
It's the early season. It's kind of like playoff baseball. Man on third, less than 2 out. Guy wants to really drive him in. You got to read the situation. You got the stats. You know the scouting report. But it's also see what's going on in the box.
Go ahead, run at second. 2 out in the 7th. Another 0-2 is flexed up the middle, right at Freeland. Alex Vesia with a scoreless season debut, and there it is. The Alex we know and love getting a great warm hand from this LA crowd. Stand and stretch. Time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Sit and Sleep.
All right, fans, it's time for the 7th.
Back-to-back world champion Dodger baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers. Discover the complete Ford lineup. Rugged, stylish, powerful trucks and SUVs engineered for your adventures. Tied at 4 to the bottom of the 7th. Game 2 of this journey. Max Muncy to lead off against Ryan Thompson. Grounds the first one sharply, picked by Marte. The Dodgers still searching for their first base runner since the 3rd. After a scoreless top of the 7th inning that had to be extra emotional for Alex Vesia. And the crowd recognizing that. Points up to his wife Kayla. Back doing what he loves. Hernandez watches a frisbee for a strike. So now they're dealing with Thompson, who pitched last night at a 1-2-3 inning. 6'5", tough angle right-hander. Came over the deadline in 2023. And it's been key. Roller to short, heaved across, 2 out. Dodgers Oral had 4 consecutive batters reach in the 4-run rally in the 3rd inning. Outside of that, they're 0 for 20.
Yeah, they are not getting to this pitching staff. Nelson did a good job settling down. It'll be interesting because this lineup is usually too long for pitching staffs. They proved it yesterday. They might have to prove it again here tonight.
Pages with 2 outs. Takes a strike on the corner. Andy, the talk of spring training. Motivated after how last year went. As much as that, though, it's a young player still who's in his 3rd year. There's natural progression of him getting better. Waves and misses, 0-2. Talking to Robert Van Scoyoc about that, and he said Andy is so fearless. I don't know how much he really thinks about how last postseason went. So RVS thinks it's much more just maturation than it is motivation from last year. Reaches out, flips it down the line. That is into the net. Compared him to J.D. Martinez and his fearlessness, and Robert Van Scoyoc thinks as highly of J.D. Martinez as any hitter that he's been around. But just with that word fearlessness, he said nothing rattles him. It doesn't matter that he was 0 for whatever in the postseason. He's forgotten that. Nothing solid in this inning against Thompson. 7 pitches, 1, 2, 3 to the 8th, tied at 4. Let's take a look at the United Airlines destination board. The upcoming schedule, one more game in this series. Sunday, like we said, is off. And then the Guardians come in. They're up in Seattle to open this season. They've split the first 2 games. Got Jose Ramirez coming to town. You got Chase DeLauder coming to town. Rookie for the Guardians, who debuted in the playoffs last year, has 3 home runs the first 2 games of his career in the regular season. This game's tied at 4. Edgardo Enriquez on to pitch. 4, 5, and 6 for Arizona. Gabby Moreno takes inside for ball 1. And there is a lot of variance in how this can go when Edgardo Enriquez comes in. We've seen him dominate, but for a lot of spring, it was the opposite of that.
And we're getting down in an area where Dave Roberts' trust tree, where he's just almost just watching and putting it together. Not a lot of sure things in the bullpen coming out of spring training in his mind, where it's just going to see how kind of feel our way through this for high leverage guys, setup guys. Of course, we know who has the 9th inning with the lead.
That's the really one sure thing, but then he used the word with us today, fluid. Beyond that, a couple guys still coming back from injuries. Brock Stewart making his way back. He threw to hitters today. Evan Phillips coming back from Tommy John. He threw a pen today. Pavin Smith takes upstairs, ball 1. But it's kind of the nature of bullpens. Look, this team's loaded up, and some people are saying could be best ever. And they still have a pen where it's like, well, guys are going to need to step forward. It's the part of a team, any team, not just this one, that's going to evolve the most as the year goes on.
They have the good fortune that they're going to have a lot of runs scored, and that will give Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor a little bit more leniency of less high leverage situations.
Yeah, easier for a team like the Dodgers to navigate what every team does as they figure out the plan, because there's so much wiggle room. You're going to win your fair share of games. Some teams, it's going to come down to a game or two, and as you struggle with your pen early, a lot more pressure to figure it out faster.
Yeah, if you're a team that wants to finish above 500 and you have pen choices to make in tight games, this could make or break your season.
Arizona's a great example of that. Pen is a problem to begin, and for a lot of teams it is, but for a team like this, these games count as much as the ones at the end. And you'd hate to look back and say, man, the Pen would have been a little better to begin. Might be a playoff team. 2-2 on Smith. Here comes a couple pop-ups. Couple easy plays. Max Muncy. 2 out.
Success breeds confidence, and he has had success, so that's what you need to draw on. You don't want to look back at your bad innings, your bad outings, your bad string of times out there. You want to look at, I pitched in front of sellout crowds in Dodger Stadium, one of the best teams I've ever been part of or in history. And I did the job sometimes. Go out there with that kind of confidence, like these guys believe in me and I've got the ball, and let's go do it again.
Trying to put a sombrero on Aaron Arenado here, who has struck out 3 times.
Only had 2 of those 3K games last year. He's already done it a second time this year.
2 balls and no strikes. Enriquez comes home. Yeah, got some help right there. Bloop backing out of play, 2-1. Ricardo made it to the majors at the end of 2024. He was set to maybe make the team out of spring training last year, but he broke his foot during spring training, missed the first half of the season. 2.37 ERA in the 22 games once he returned. The only guy that threw harder last year was Mason Miller, the Padres.
Saw him in the WBC an awful lot.
Dude hasn't given up a hit in like 6 months. Granted, there's the offseason, but
I got the gist.
Yeah, last month plus of his time with the Padres, didn't give up any hits. 3-2 on Arenado. Takes time. Dodgers have 9-1-2 coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Enriquez comes home and strikes him out. 101 to the knees to finish off a 1-2-3 season debut. Don't forget to tune in after the game. We got Access Sportsnet Dodgers presented by Mercury Insurance. For the first time this year, the boys out there in center field, John and Jerry and Nomar, ready to bring you home after a good ball game. Tied at 4, bottom of the 8th inning. Dodgers with a 4-run burst in the 3rd. Literally nothing since. Mookie Betts had a 3-run home run to give him the lead. 0 for 14 since then. It's Alex Freeland to lead off. He started that 4-run burst with a home run. New pitcher for Arizona, Kevin Ginkel. Ginkel was excellent for a couple years in the last year. A +7 ERA. So his first opportunity, looking for a bounce back. Ball and a strike on Freeland with Ohtani looming on deck. Here's a great example of what we were talking with Dave Roberts about before the game, World. The importance of this 9 spot ahead of Ohtani. Towards right center field. Did he find the gap? He did. It bounces off the top of the wall. Have a season debut, Alex Freeland. He's followed his home run with a double. First base runner for the Dodgers since the 3rd. Table set for Ohtani.
Dodgers win this game. Kirsten, I think this is your post-game interview. This guy's having a day. The home run and now this double. Got a chance to score the go-ahead run. Setting the table not only for Ohtani, but maybe Edwin Diaz.
Ohtani fouls it off. By now, I know what you're thinking. Kind of expecting him to do something crazy, aren't you?
Yeah, like ground out to second, move the runner over. Come on, situational hitting.
He's 0 for 2 tonight. Walked and scored on the Betts home run.
I definitely want him to pull the ball.
He does, and foul.
Might have got his big toe.
Ginkel would love a strikeout here. Tie game in the 8th. 1-2 to Ohtani. In the dirt. Good stop by Moreno.
Keep the ball in front of you. You want it like an egg in front of you. Tilt your chest forward so the bounce goes down. Keeps it close to you.
Ohtani's knocked in 100 both years for the Dodgers. 130 his first year. 102 last year. But for his first RBI of the 26 campaign, a 2-2 pitch come after Ginkel. Looks Freeland back.
He is not going to attempt stealing third with Ohtani up. No outs.
Here it comes. Bouncing ball, and it'll move him up. It wasn't spectacular, but it's what the situation called for. The go-ahead run is 90 feet away. So Ohtani moves him up.
Team at bat, and he'll get handshakes like he hit a home run. They will come off the railing and greet him on the bench.
Because the spectacular is a lot more common with him than sometimes the simple play like that. There were times where that's what it called for, and the swing stayed huge, and he wouldn't get even that. Tucker with the infield pulled in. Talk about the on base, talk about the pop for Kyle Tucker. When he's been healthy, he's been a great RBI guy. And say what you will about that stat as a way to judge a hitter. I don't think it's the best way to say if he's a great hitter or not, but it's certainly a skill. Dave Roberts talks about it as a sixth sense, an ability to drive in a run. Kyle Tucker, last 2 fully healthy years, more than 100 runs batted in. Checked his swing, 1-1.
When a reliever comes into another pitcher's jam, he feels responsible to protect the last guy. Well, with Ohtani grounding out to second, Tucker feels like it's his responsibility to protect Ohtani in the job that he did.
Ball 2. Led the majors in runs batted in 2023. Knocked in his first as a Dodger last night. And he's given him the lead. Kyle Tucker, second game with the Dodgers. Go ahead hit in the 8th.
You can sign all the talent in the world to a baseball team, but if they don't do the little things, they don't play detailed winning baseball, the talent won't succeed. Ohtani grounds out to second. Tucker drives the ball to the right side through a drawn-in infield and scores the go-ahead run. And then they have a very talented reliever to close in the pen.
Dodgers win back-to-back championships. Last year's team, if you're nitpicking, 2 problem areas: the 9th inning and the outfield. They go and get the best outfielder. He's giving them the lead. They go and get the best reliever. He'll try and lock it down. Tucker had a good jumper there, then threw on the brakes.
They got outplayed in the World Series. You know why they won it? Because in the moments, they got the job done. And that's what just happened here in this inning. Game 6 and 7, fingernails. But they were detail-oriented. Toronto outplayed them statistically, but the Dodgers won the moments.
Checking on Tucker. 30 out of 35 in stolen bases last year. 83 out of 96. Or beg your pardon, 88% in his career. He takes off. Throw from Moreno. Into center field. Tucker scampers for third. In there easily.
Small ball and winning baseball continues. Go from trying to squeak one across to maybe put yourself in a way to have a 2-run inning.
And one guy keeps up and the other guy. Here the infield gets pulled in for Betts. Holes get bigger for Mookie thanks to the base running from Tucker. Went around 2-2.
Well, Mookie knows Tucker's running. He takes the pitch. Now Mookie's up there because the throw gets away. If Mookie swings and fouls it off, Tucker goes back to first. Mookie says he's running. I'll take it. Let him have a shot. They get more for the bargain.
Betts is a .327 lifetime hitter with runners in scoring position. That's top 5 among active hitters. Broke through in Game 6 of the World Series last year. He'd been struggling. Dave Roberts moved him down to the cleanup spot. Knocked in their first run in that game. Another 2-2 from Ginkel. Betts lays off. Ball 3. Still have both challenges, but Moreno convinced that one outside. Now would be the time to use it.
Yeah.
And he was right. Payoff. Fouled off. Arizona in the 9th inning. Bottom of the order due up. Santana, Thomas, and Lawler. Edwin Diaz ready to make his Dodger debut. A night for the new guys, perhaps. Ground ball to third. Arenado looks Tucker back and throws Betts out. 2 away. Got to get Freddie Freeman in the hit column, huh?
Dodgers were experts at this, driving in runs with 2 outs, hitting with 2 strikes last year, and this is a guy who probably led a lot of those categories for the team. or at least near the top.
Flied the other way. Back goes Lawler. And that's the fourth time that he's flied out at least to the edge of the track over the first two games. All right. Dodgers have taken the lead 5-4. Fasten those seatbelts. Edwin Diaz coming on for his Dodger debut. Start those horns, baby.
Please. Now pitching for the Dodgers, number 3, Edwin Diaz.
Well, that was sweet, huh? She on payroll? Is this just a first-time thing, or are we going to have her hanging out for any time Edwin Diaz comes in?
That would be cool, but I think not affordable.
I mean,
First baseman.
these guys at this point.
Carlos Santana.
All right, so here we go. Edwin Diaz. Dodgers are their first clear-cut closer since Kenley Jansen was here. That's 5 years ago. Then revolving door, a closer by committee. Now they've got one of the game's best. Carlos Santana leads off the ninth and takes ball one from Diaz. 3-year contract. Dodgers last year bullpen ranked 21st. So they go out and get a guy that has been as good as anybody. That knee injury in the World Baseball Classic in 2023 took him a while to come back from that. His ERA the next year 3.5, wasn't quite himself, but last year, a couple years removed, 1.63 to lead the National League.
Heater and a slider, and an unbelievable presence on the mound. A pitch executioner, executing the pitch, executing the batters, and getting them out.
1-2 and a strikeout to open Edwin Diaz time in Dodger blue. That was the slider.
Struck out almost 40% of the batters he faced last year. Starts it off with one this year, and you see the two pitches, opposite directions, different speeds.
And 50-50. That's the extra tough part. The fastball's gotten better and better through the years, even as the velocity's gone down. Inside with his first one to Thomas. Only guy with a higher strikeout rate than Edwin Diaz. His 10 years in the major leagues, Josh Hader. Only guy with more saves, the aforementioned Kenley Jansen. Is 1-0 offering. This is for ball 2. 5-4 game here in the top of the 9th. Thomas has knocked in 3 of the 4 for the Diamondbacks with a pair of doubles. Lawler's on deck, and then the top of the order in Marte. 2-1. Number 1 swing and miss fastball in the sport.
90% save rate last year.
3 though.
Tanner Scott has got off to a good start this year, but last year was a tough one. 10 blown saves, the most in Major League Baseball.
Three and two. That's a lot of pressure to have your very own musician playing your entrance song. He's walked him. Thomas, who's got good speed, represents the time
Catcher is
run.
challenging to call the ball.
And this is at this point, basically, you got it, so why not? It is a ball, though. ABS, powered by T-Mobile.
Los Angeles has one left.
If it gets into extra innings and you're out of challenges, you get a new one. Every extra inning where you're out, you're going to have one. Hoping that this conversation will have to continue another day. Jordan Lawler out of the 9 spot is 0 for 3 today. Marte waits on deck in a 5-4 game. Here comes Diaz. There's strike one. There he goes from first. Throw from Will Smith is not in time. Tying run into scoring position. Thomas looking around for the ball. It's on the diamond. Freeland finds it behind the mound.
Thomas had an outstanding jump. Will Smith had no shot at him. Could almost ate it behind the plate. You're going to see the jump, and when the ball arrives for Will, he's going to have a very tough time throwing him out. And that's why the throw was so off. Will was rushing it.
Lawler down the line foul. That's strike 2.
You want good, fun, tight baseball, you get it in game 2.
After Dodgers pulled away in the first one for the 8-2 win. Take the lead in the 8th inning here. Now Diaz trying to make it stand up. His 1-2 pitch is right down the middle for strike 3.
Convince him what's coming and throw the opposite.
It'll be up to Ketel Marte. 2 for 4 with a home run. The all-star second baseman. A fastball is in there. 32-year-old from Puerto Rico, Edwin Diaz. On a pitch around the walk here in his Dodger debut. Thomas at second as the 0-1 comes home and misses badly. The 1-1. Bouncer past him. Betts. Ball game. A night for the new guys. Kyle Tucker knocks in the winning run. Edwin Diaz gets his first save.
A very good ball game. It was a close ball game, but the Dodgers in the 8th figured out a way to push across the run with stars that normally go deep, but they just got productive outs and base hits and put themselves ahead and gave it to the elite closer who got the job done.
They get out hit by double, 8-4 in the hit column, but a couple home runs and then the timely hitting of Kyle Tucker. And a 5-4 win and a 2-0 start.
They win the series already, Joe. Off day on Sunday, one more game against Arizona tomorrow. These guys are feeling good about themselves. They made it 2-0 through 2 games where there were distractions and celebrations, but they still figured out a way to win them.
Let's go down to Kirsten.
Thanks, Joe. I'm with Kyle Tucker. And Kyle, you had that you were able to bring in the game-winning run. When you think about just being at the plate, going up against Kevin Kinkle, what were you looking for in that 2-1 count?
Just a pitch I could at least hit, try and get to the outfield. We put up some good at-bats before that. Freeland did a phenomenal job getting that double and the homer earlier in the game. But just having the opportunity to score a run and get a guy in right there was huge, and got the job done.
What has it been like just being a part of this lineup and considering how deep is the opportunity you have with runners on?
It's awesome. I mean, everyone kind of rakes. Everyone puts up really good at-bats all game long. So, I mean, if we just continue to do that and just grind, every at-bat out and every game out, we'll be in a good spot.
To start this game, you were on the sidelines, of course, watching the ring ceremony. How much was that just a driving factor for the goal that you want to achieve with joining this organization?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal for everyone that's playing right now is to get back to the World Series and win it. So hopefully we can get back there and get the job done again.
Can't forget about the defense, 2 assists from you in the outfield. You talked a lot about that, wanting to be kind of the place where you want to improve this year. How good did that feel just to get those results and taking a step in the right direction for you?
Yeah, I was just trying to get the ball in quick. I know it's a little deep out there, and the ball kind of kicks it around in like a circle, a roundabout. So I was just trying to get the ball in quick and get it to Free, and he did a phenomenal job with the throws too on the relay. So I just got the ball in quick, and he did the rest.
Okay, I got to ask you now, Edwin Diaz, what do you think about the trumpets, him coming out here at Dodger Stadium, and just the excitement he brings?
Yeah, it was bumping out there. Phenomenal job. I mean, our pitching staff just, kept us in the game right there, and our offense hung around with them and, scored some runs, kind of prevented some, and, turned out well for us.
All right, well, congratulations on this one, Kyle.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now I've got Edwin Diaz. Edwin, first tell me, coming out here onto Uniqlo Field, Dodger Stadium, hearing the trumpets, what was it like for you?
Was electric. The fan reaction was great. I was coming into the game locked down, but I can feel the vibe of the fans. So it was really good today.
How did you navigate through that Diamondbacks lineup?
They got a really good team. I was trying to throw strike, command my pitches the way I'm supposed to be. And I know if I do that, we got good result. That's what we did today.
Okay, so now tell me, was a live trumpet performer in the contract? Is that the new deal for you?
I guess, what's really good. I heard the trumpet, I started laughing. But what's really good, I did enjoy my time today.
You and Kyle had to watch the ceremony, the ring ceremony from the sidelines this afternoon. I mean, how much is that just a driving force for you to, of course, when you joined this organization, you talked about wanting to win a World Series championship. What was it like watching it and knowing that opportunity could come for you next year?
The goal is be there next year. So my thought was at that moment, I want to be there with those guys next year. So our goal is win. We got a really good team. Just enjoy the time and let's win another ring.
All right, well, congratulations on your first save as a Dodger.
Thank you.
All right, Kirsten. Well, tonight you either got a championship ring or a performance that justifies being the post-game interview. 2 guys that didn't get to put a ring on end up winning the game for him. Kyle Tucker drives in the winning run, and then Edwin Diaz with his own trumpet.